Hello, welcome back to Metalhead Nation Garage. I'm Chris, your host. Hey, give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. And we're going to talk about a little 70s band and going to reminisce a little bit about how I came in to listen to these bands back in the day. One of them we're going to talk about is a band named Ram Jam. My older brother, David, God rest his soul, he was a muscle car guy. I mean, he had some of the coolest cars back in the day. I mean, he had an Impala, like a 68 Impala. He had a 67 Nova, Ford T-Bird. He had multiple muscle cars. So, he took me a ride in his 67 Nova. It was gold, jacked up back end. That was in the day, you know. You raised that back end up 3 feet off the ground, it seemed to be. And, but anyways, so we, you know, and he'd race it. We had this quarter-mile track. It was an overpass over Interstate 74. And, you know, you tracked it. It was about a quarter-mile long. But anyways, that's where we drag racing and things of that sort. But anyways, he took me out there. You know, we stopped and hit it. You know, well, before we hit it, let's get to it. He had Ram Jam. He turned me on to Ram Jam. And they had a song, a big song, and it was called Black Betty. So anyways, he put that on, cranked it up, and there we went. We went down that quarter mile, and we just kept on going, driving out on the highway. But listen to Black Betty and this Ram Jam album. You know, one of the best. They was around 77, 78. I mean, they had, you know, band members in there, Bill Bartlett, you know, Jimmy Santoro, I mean, multiple, Mike Scavarone lead vocals, and these bands, you know, they was in the Lemon Pipers back in the day. Blavitt was in with Billy Joe, and Billy Joe, a big name back in the 70s, early 80s, like that classic rock. But yeah, that Ram Jam, I mean, some of the songs they had, one Black Betty, and I mean, it was for fast cars. I mean, that was the intent, you know. I was young, you know, and kind of, man, he kind of scary a little bit, but as you went going, he had control of the car, and we just listened to some tunes and just took a ride out in that area, in Decatur County, where we lived. So it was really cool, and we listened to that whole album. But, you know, back in the day, them albums, they was anywhere from 25, 30 minutes. Airplay back in the day, you know, they wanted you under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So and all of the songs was like that. I mean, before 70s and the 60s, you know, it was a lot of instrumental tracks ran on 7 or 8 minutes. That's for sure. But it was a fun time, you know, reminisce about all the hot rods he had and take you for rides, and just a cool feeling, and the memories always live on forever. That's for sure. And that's what I got out of that. Got to, you know, enjoy. I always wanted to ride in these cars and stuff, but he was busy, you know, going to school, he worked. So, you know, every little bit, you know, get a chance, he'd take me for a ride. I remember that forever. And who wants to hang around with their kid brother, right? You know, they got girlfriends, they got things to do. But, you know, talking about the Ram Jam, going, just listen to some of these if you haven't. And I know my kids are out there, and nieces and nephews, listen to that Ram Jam album in 77. I mean, Black Betty was the hit, but Let It All Out, Keep Your Hands on the Wheel. I mean, these are all driving songs too. You know, Right on the Money, All for Love and Rock and Roll, High Steppin', Overloaded, Hey Boogie, 404. I mean, just really great. And I mean, great. It's a great album. Maybe a one-hit wonder, maybe, if that's what, because they didn't last too long, but a very, very good band in the 70s that did come out with some hits in that one album. You know, another one that Dave turned me on to is Atlantic Rhythm Section. These are all in the 70s and really good. Atlantic Rhythm Section, kind of a country rock, if you will. They a lot of great songs. They was on the radio. I mean, get a chance, listen to these. I mean, Spooky, So Into You was her big hit. Imaginary Lover, another big hit for them. Doraville, Do It or Die. I'm Not Gonna Let It Bother Me. Georgia Rhythm, Junkin', Homesick, and these are classic, country rock songs. These, the Leonard Skinners of the day. I mean, they made it big. Everybody liked them. Whatever the Atlantic Rhythm sections. I mean, Ram Jam wasn't that big. Per se as them, because they didn't continue the success. Atlantic Rhythm section did a little more, but they great bands, and these are some of the ones I got turned on to because my mom had me on Hee Haw, had Buck Owens and things, and I was listening to that, and I was happy listening to this. This was another avenue I took to from my big brother to listen to alternative music. Not to say that classic country isn't good. I still listen to that today. I have all them Buck Owens albums, Rory Clark, and reminisce with them at certain times. But these 70 bands, that's why they stick so much to me, because it just a different avenue at that time, and it was up and wasn't crying in your beer type things. It was maybe a party atmosphere per se, but it was upbeat, and you could get into the groove of it. And Dave, he was taking guitar lessons at that time, and another one he first and everybody's first song on a guitar is Smoke on the Water, and he could play the hell out of that, I could tell you that. And but it was just another avenue and something I share with him back in the day that I'll never forget. So another one he turned me on to, kind of more heavy metal per se, but theatrics, and that was Alice Cooper. Boy, he was really big in the 70s, and I mean, his greatest hits album, oh my gosh, was the best. And just had really good songs. No More Mr. Nice Guy, I'm 18, which wow, that's everybody's favorite song, right? And hits home pretty good. Under My Wheels, some of these 70s, You and Me, I mean, all of them, I Never Cry, and Hello, Hooray, that was a good one, $1 Billion Babies, and the hits go on through here, and I was turned on to that in the 70s, and man, after that, Lord have mercy, I never looked back. You just stay in that, you want to hear more, that was one of them too. Triumph was one. I mean, he listened to a lot of great bands that turned me on to it, and that is my catalog today from all that. And I went even further back to the 60s, the folk era, Jimi Hendrix coming out, and then that 70s boom. I mean, you hit that. Jimmy brought that electric guitar into the equation there, and never looked back after that. And I think that changed the music. You got a lot of good bands coming out, turned electric. Ram Jam, one of them, and sure, Atlantic Rhythm section, Leonard Skinner, all that country rock came out, and it was really cool back then. And listen to the radio. I mean, as I said, it was like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Hell, like 2 minutes was really good to get a song on that AM radio. I don't know if you guys remember that. Big AM radio was a big thing back in. And out of Indy, it was WNBE, Windy AM radio, which was pretty cool. And still remember it this day. I don't know how long AM is going to last now with satellite. I'm sure they do. I don't know if there's any music on AM radio anymore. A lot of talk shows, I'm sure, that's on AM radio. But that was the thing back then, and it was really cool, and I wanted to share that with you. But if you haven't listened to that Ram Jam, get out there and listen to it. Atlantic Rhythm section, another great band, that's not around now. And, Alice Cooper is always around. But give me your comments on that. What do you think? What's your 70s bands, and that you listened to growing up? And, and share a story. What got you listening to them? So, hey, that'll be it for this episode on Metalhead Nation Garage. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode.